Hello, my name is Hector Garcia. Just a little bit of history about myself. First of all, right now I am currently a police officer for a school district, and before that I did spend 7 years as a police officer for the city of Laredo. While there, had multiple trainings, met with very different styles of leaders. Um, I was a field training officer, so I did spend some time training new officers on what they had to do and how to get by, both out on the streets and also on paper, because it is still very important that you be able to justify everything that you're doing. Um, like I said, some supervisors were a joy to work with, and others were not. At the end of the day, you still have to follow rules. You still have to follow orders given to you by your supervisors. Um, Aside from Laredo, I did also work for the city of Mission for another 7 years. So in total, I have about 16 years active law enforcement experience. I have also been an insurance agent, so I know a little bit about that side of the other side of the business as well. Used car salesman. Worked for a lumber company as well. So I have worked with various supervisors. Um, One of the things, especially with the chief, in Laredo, that I admired was the fact that you could run into him out on the streets. He would go up to your calls and help you out. And not one single time did he ever come up and say, "Hey, you're not doing this right. Get out of here. Give me somebody else over here." He was there. He was there to support, whatever you were doing, and he was basically your backup. If at any time you had a question, I know one time during a city council meeting we were asked to be there as security because of certain threats that had occurred, and he made some comments that were or I felt at the time was like, that's not something we can handle. That's not a law enforcement issue. And I went up to him and I not confronted him, but I asked him, you mentioned this. How could we do that? That is, to my knowledge, we cannot. And he went on to explain, his reasons for what he said and what we were able to do. At no time did he ever say, how come you don't know what you're doing? Why do I have you here, or anything like that? In other cases, with other supervisors, you have that it creates a little bit of a tension where you go and you ask them, what, this and this is going on. How do you want me to handle this? And then you have this well, you should know. So it kind of takes away the motivation of wanting to work with that person, because it makes you wonder, does he know? And if he doesn't know, that's fine. Tell me that you don't know, and we'll work something out. We'll figure something out. We'll ask somebody else if we need to ask somebody else. Different leaders, different supervisors, work so differently. Um, Today, as I am not a supervisor yet, listen, but I do have a lot of people that look up to me because of my experience. Because when something is going on, whether it's during training or out on the field at one of the schools, uh, many of the officers come to me and ask me, how would I do this, or how would you do this? So I go back and I think, okay, you know what? Yeah, justification. You need to be able to justify yourself. Why are you doing this? What were you thinking when you did this? What was going through your mind? I'm not gonna go out there and tell you you're just doing this wrong and that's it. You'll have to understand what was going through your head at the time. And that's one of the leadership qualities that I believe is would be helpful, because I'm not gonna go out there and put them down and say, hey, you know what, you're just doing everything wrong. No, the thing is, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind? What was your intent? And especially nowadays where You have cameras, you have the cell phones, everybody's being recorded, and so many things are subject to interpretation, based on what's going on. But if on paper you can state, hey, you know what, this is what I did, this is why I did it. Maybe you're wrong, but you had a reason for doing it a certain way, and that's I believe is one of the most important things. That there was no malicious intent, and that's what you need to let everybody know about. Now, as far as my ideal leader, someone who will listen, someone who will take into consideration ideas from other people, even though they didn't come directly from them. It's like they say, two heads are better than one. So if you can get an idea from someone's previous experiences, some other ideas from somebody else's previous experiences, and you come together, it becomes a family, it becomes a group. We work together and we resolve whatever issues come up. As far as the steps that I believe I need to take, well, first of all, I got to get promoted. I'm working on that. So as soon as that happens, then I'll be able to see how I can incorporate my ideas and my way of seeing things. I see now, a lot of the supervisors, the captain said no, and that was it. I'm like, wait, but there's more to it. There's reasons for doing things or wanting to do things a certain way. Right now, there are so many limitations placed on us, but yet the state allows us to do certain things so that we can do our job, so that we can have the pride in our jobs that we're supposed to have. So we need to set aside those limitations. We need the people that are setting those limitations need to understand, and they don't right now because nobody has gone up to them and said, hey, you know what, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what we need to do. So, my main thing is, bring pride back to the organization. People need to understand we are police officers. We are real. We do have the ability to make arrests, to detain, to handcuff, and do whatever we need to effect those arrests. And to keep, of course, the main concern is to keep the schools, the students, the staff, everybody safe. And, in a nutshell, that's what I believe a good leader would do. Thank you.